Hello, I'm Dr. Brandt Gibson, and today I want to talk to you about corns and calluses. So I have people come in on a regular basis and they're saying, okay, I have a corn on my foot, or I have a callus here. And the idea is people don't really know how to differentiate them. Let me tell you a secret. There is actually really no difference. A corn and a callus are both hyperkeratotic tissue, or thickening of the tissue because of pressure. The real difference, the common difference that people will use, is corns are typically on toes or between toes, and they can be soft or hard depending on location. Where calluses are on other locations, sometimes on the top of the foot they'll call it a callus, but definitely on the bottom of the foot they call them calluses, not corns, because they're usually not a bump but flat. They may be a little bit of a thickening of the skin, but they're not flat. They don't have a big, a rounded purpose like you would commonly on a between toes, for example. So the common locations for a callus on toes is on the top of a joint or between the toes themselves. These are typically, like I said, going to be called corns. And what happens, you get two joints rubbing together, and you can get callus at least on one side, sometimes on both. And the idea is reducing that pressure. Eliminating that pressure will eliminate the corn and callus. So how are they treated? There are basically three ways you can treat it. You can treat it at home by creating areas of padding. People will put cotton between their toes, or they will wear the socks that actually have toe socks where they actually go over each of the toes, so they separate them out. You can do the 5-finger shoes for the same reason, where they actually separate the toes, and sometimes that will reduce the calluses or corns in that area. Corn pads, there's a disadvantage to using them because they usually have an acid in them that will actually can damage the normal tissue as well as the corns or callus. Sometimes they will make the corns or calluses worse. If you have a diabetic or an individual that has neuropathy, where they have a decrease in sensation in the foot, you can actually cause holes, wounds, because they will go far enough that, and you don't feel them, they kill even the normal tissue. So we don't always do that. I do recommend that you pat them. If they're uncomfortable, you can come into the office and we can actually trim down the callus. You can see someone that actually trims down calluses. And once we trim down the callus, the pain goes completely away. And then if you pat it or do something to reduce the pressure, they don't come back as quickly. Disadvantage of corns and calluses is they usually will come back because there's a reason that they are there. So without fixing the problem, whether it's saying, okay, why is it rubbing? Is it a shoe problem? Is it a bone problem or a sock problem? All of those can actually cause calluses or blisters. Calluses are common because of rubbing on shoes or a sock that irritates the area, or like we said, bones rubbing together through the skin. All of those can cause corns or calluses. So you want to reduce the pressure, and a lot of times we can actually trim the problem and solve the problem for you long term, though they may come back if you don't maintain the reduction in pressure. This is Dr. Brandt Gibson, and this is your podiatry tip.